Black men. I think one of the most exciting journeys about being next to you and watching you grow is watching you shed the weight that has put onto you and feel free more and more each day as you go on this self-discovery, self-love journey. It is so beautiful to watch you be loved and to feel safe and watch you expand and watch you let go of things that were never yours to carry. I'm so excited to see what it looks like when you finally reach that place where you can be in your childlike energy. I want to support you in that place. I want to help bring you to that place. I want to help bring you to the present moment that is right now, today, and give you permission to feel free.
Hey guys, it's your boy DB here with the Soul of a Man podcast. I am here with my podcast partner, my wonder twin, Chill, aka Hump, better known as Michael Allen Humphrey, Senior. Mike, what's good, brother?
I ain't got it, man. I ain't got it. Glad to be here. Glad to be alive on a beautiful, beautiful day. Don't know where all of this incredible warmer weather is coming from. Maybe our guest brought it from up north today. I'm not sure.
There you go. There you go. Well, look, we have a very special guest with us today. Oddly enough, we first crossed paths. I had to go back and look at the date. This was in April of 2023. We actually posted our very first video or clip on TikTok, and she commented. And so at that point in time, again, it was the first clip that we posted on TikTok, is the first episode that we'd posted of the podcast. And so I'm like, all right, well, who is this person who commented? So I actually went to her page and I'm like, wow. Okay. Instant follow. And so kind of how my days went from that point forward, almost 2 years later, is I would wake up, to have my conversation with God, and then log on to her page to get my affirmation, my daily affirmation. As just the OG here, I needed it, and it kind of got my day started. And then I would subsequently do the same things in the evening and whatnot. So I reached out to her and said, hey, I love what you're doing. Would you mind at some point being a guest on our show? And she was like, absolutely. In typical fashion, we had a million things going on trying to get the show off the ground. But here we are 2 years later almost, and she is on the show, and she's been patient with us, and she's been more than willing to be here. And the initial conversation that we had with her leading up to this episode was nothing short of amazing. And so we knew that this day had to come. And so I want to welcome to the Soul of a Man podcast none other than the curator, digital content creator, principal of Affirmations for Black Men, Nicole Glass. Nicole, yes. Welcome to the Soul of a Man podcast.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you, guys. I'm so happy to be here. That was such an incredible introduction. You guys don't even know, this conversation is about to get so good. Like, I am talking to some of the smartest men online that is talking about these issues from experience, right? We have a lot of people with podcasts and with mics who don't have the experience giving relationship advice and all the things. So I'm excited to talk to you guys. So yeah, just ask me anything and we can take the conversation anywhere y'all want to go.
So we asked you when we were just having our conversation to tune up for this episode because there was some just, I guess, amazement between Chill and I in terms of your youth, but your seasoned experience and soul. If you don't mind sharing, and we typically don't ask women this question, but I think people will understand where we're going once we ask you and they hear you talk. If you don't mind, just share your age with us.
Yes, of course. I don't mind. I'm 30 years old, born in 1994. Like,
1984.
oh my God.
30 years
You
old.
started college in that year, DV, I believe.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, wow. No, so here's the deal. She's 30 years old.
Yeah.
If you follow her, so when you guys follow her after watching this episode, for those that are in our sort of demographics and sort of our viewership, please go follow her at Affirmations for Black Men on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and she'll tell you wherever else. But you will hear a young lady who, again, has wisdom beyond her years, which is why I wanted her to share her age. So if you don't mind, Nicole and Mike, we can jump right into some questions.
Yeah.
My first question is, how did you come up with Affirmations for Black Men? What was your creative genius behind this? Talk to us about it.
That is like the number one question that people ask me. So I'm excited to just, say it online for everybody. But for me, I was dealing with some, like, I would say self-acceptance, self-love stuff within myself. And so I was in therapy. I've been in therapy for the past 3 years. Highly recommend, talking to someone when you're not feeling like your highest self, or like you're not feeling your best, or maybe you don't know how to regulate your emotions. Therapy is always a great place to start because there's new energy that you can be in that maybe you're not accustomed to. So that's what I was searching. And for any Black man listening, Black Man Heal actually does free therapy for Black men on their platform. I just talked to her therapist. They do 8 free therapy sessions for Black men. It takes about 3 weeks to get them situated, and it's all Black therapists. So I ended up having health insurance, thankfully. It took me a little minute to find a therapist, I would say. Like, it's like building a relationship, like you don't just, oh, I'm just going to pick this therapist. It's like, you got to trust somebody with your information. And so it took me about 3-4 times before, and I kept trying before I found someone that I actually really liked. And that therapist, she was expressing to me that, why don't you try affirmations? Why don't you look in the mirror and affirm yourself, or write it down, or just give yourself some positive energy around yourself? And it helped me navigate the way that I talked to myself in my head. It helped me navigate and understand, like, I wasn't really paying attention to my thoughts that much. Right. And then it helped me reframe what I was thinking into the positive, because perspective shifts can be very powerful. And so immediately, I didn't at first believe the affirmations, but as I started saying them more and more, I was like reprogramming my brain to be able to actually believe what I was saying. And if you know anything about marketing or subliminal marketing, if you're seeing things every single day and you're hearing things every single day, that is programming your brain on purpose. So what affirmations does, it allows you to be in control, you to be the driver, to program your own brain and in the way that you want it to be. So you have all these other things programming you, right? So it's important that we take the wheel. So I did that for myself. It worked. And then I was encouraged, because of my family history and the way that my family gives back to my community, to do it for Black men and Black women. And the affirmations were doing really well for the first 2 weeks, but the outcry from Black men was so loud, like they could not believe that they're seeing a sister affirm them. And it was like foreign, like I was like doing some magic trick. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like, I love that you guys are loving this. This is great. This is working. But then it wasn't until I got this one comment from a Black man who said he was going to take his life had he not seen the video. And he thanked me so much because he didn't realize like that there was like a love out there. And then that's when I felt like I was being called to just focus on Black men and do affirmations for Black men, because the mental health space and the mental health resources for Black men is not as plentiful as it is for Black women.
It's interesting because the video clip that I talked about of ours that you commented on was the one that was of me stating the reason why we created The Soul of a Man. And we basically said, if this show could help one Black man not take his life, one Black man not walk out on his family, then we've done our jobs. And that is the one that you actually commented on. And so to hear you say that you had a brother, that's sort of a full circle moment to come to you and say, look, I was contemplating, ending my life, but until I got your confirmation, That is, to me, no pun, but that is affirmation that what we're doing as a collective is working in our community. So thank you for
Yes.
saving that young brother's life. Well, that brother's life, because I don't know how old he was, but thank you
Yeah.
for that and been a big part of that.
Right.
Amazing, amazing. So Chill, I'm gonna let you go. I could ask a million questions. I'm gonna let you have the floor, brother.
Yeah, just real quick. I posted something recently about having recently gotten a colonoscopy. And in that, folks started commenting on the anesthesia and how great it was to just be out for 30 minutes to an hour, the time of the procedure. And I can't tell you how many comments I got from brothers saying, best sleep I've had in years. Darren and I have had this conversation. Part of why we came here and started doing this, because he'd be up at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. I'd be up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, literally worrying about things. But I wanted to share that with you and say that to you. There's still this segment of the Black male community that's struggling still. And to hear again from a woman in the environment that we're currently in, where and I'll get to this a bit more later, where we are popping red balloons and we're, getting sometimes not the best dating advice, and we're watching housewives and, throw wine and tear brothers down and this thing. There's a lot of negativity that's there. So to hear this coming from you, it's so counter to everything that we're experiencing. And it sounds like this was really a calling, a purpose for you at a point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It wasn't, I feel like some people, could they get the journey and it might look like it might have been like easy to do, but when you're doing something different than a lot of people, right? Like there's a lot of friction that comes with it. So even though I was pouring out so much love, at first I got a lot of hate. There was a lot of hate. Like there was love coming from, Black men who were appreciating the content, but then there was a lot of hate coming from white communities, basically saying that I was being racist. Like I was getting comments every single day telling me that, why not affirmations for everybody? Like almost like all lives matter,
Right.
The all lives matter people were coming in. And then I was getting a lot of anger from women who either like wanted me to do the affirmations for women again, or asking me why I stopped or why I wasn't doing it for them. And they were just like, why just them? And then there was like the content of people saying that I was being a pick me and I just wanted a man in my life. And I was just trying to, I was using this to get to Instagram fame or whatever. And so it was like all of these people were bringing negativity into what I was doing before I was even feeling too confident in myself to do it. But, it was the positive comments. It was like something in the back, but like, just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. They'll see, maybe they don't see it now, but I'm going to just keep pouring. And then, not everybody is going to support you or see your vision. There's actually going to be a lot more people who try to pull you down and to stop you from it, which I learned. But I truly, truly, truly did believe that I'm doing something so powerful, like sometimes when there's a lot of friction to get you to not do it, that means that you're on the right track.
I'm sorry. We appreciate your stick-to-itness. We do.
Thank you.
For real. How much was your father an influence in you pursuing this and affirming Black men? And did you grow up with both parents?
Yeah, I mean, I had my mom in my life. My mom and my dad weren't together, but my dad was in my life up until he died. And he died when I was like 10, 11 on like my birthday weekend. But he left me a Monopoly set, and he left me his like a little bit of his 401k like that he had saved up because he was only 41 years old at the time when he passed. So he was so young, and it was from like not taking care of himself. He died from stress because he had, he had children by two different women. So he complained a lot about child support. And like he had a really large house and he had the car, and the commuting in New York City was really expensive, and so there was just like a lot going on with him financially. So he had a lot of financial stress. And then he was like missing his mother. His mother had died of a car crash. And so he was like, all of these things were combining up. And then he was just using like cigarettes and alcohol to cope with that. And like just probably, silently, pretty much silently dying, but I loved my dad. Every time I was with him, he showed me nothing but love and support. He treated me like I was always special. And he, was always calling me princess. Like I didn't have a bad relationship with my father. I had a really good relationship with my father. He always took care of me. So I feel like from my experience from the Black men in my life growing up, and not just my dad, my mom is a minister. So she went to Princeton Theological Seminary. So I was engaging with a lot of Black men who also were like ministers to become pastors, in the church and stuff like that. And I grew up in this environment with their kids. And so I've always been surrounded around powerful, like Black men who resonated and who cared and who gave back. So my experience, maybe as unique as it is, like my mom put me in environments with love. With love in mind. So I always felt so much love for the people around me because that's what I was given.
Good.
That's great. To me, and again, I've been following you for at least a couple years now. We both have. And to me, your content has always been great. I mean, always. But for me, where it turned the corner to just another stratosphere is when you enlisted, or they actually volunteered, the help of other Black women to come onto your platform and affirm Black men. There was a time where, and I don't know how long that stretch of period was, where I didn't see you. It was just Black woman after Black woman after Black woman every day coming on with the Black man. And I'm like, yes, they're talking to me.
Right. They're talking to me.
Yes,
they're
exactly.
To me. Yeah. That was dope.
How did those collaborations come about?
Yeah, so I actually was receiving feedback because for those of you who haven't seen my page, I was doing affirmations for Black men every single day, a different affirmation for a year and a half, about to 2 years. And like even on days that I didn't feel like it, or on days where I felt tired or maybe low myself, right? Because we all go through ups and downs emotionally or mentally, I was still showing up. And so there's something about that consistency that was really difficult, but I tried my best. And then it got to a point where, I was going like people were excited to see me and I was going viral and like consistently, like I had 20, 30,000 followers every video. But I would get one or two comments that be like, it's only you. This is rare. This is, unicorn, da, 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 da. And I was like, okay, so I don't want the community to feel like, my intention was to affirm Black men from a Black woman so Black men feel supported, but I don't want them to feel like it's only coming from one person or like it's not out there like of Black women. I thought at first I was, speaking as a Black woman for the love that Black women have for Black men. But I realized that it was such in scarcity that there's so many Black men that didn't believe it. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to make this feel like it's abundant. Like there's hundreds of Black women who feel the way that I do and thousands, because there are. And I just know that there are. And there was Black women that were following me. So I reached out to the Black women who were following me. I reached out to the Black women in my community. And every single day I was just sending like 100 messages to different Black women asking if they wanted to participate and collaborate on the page. And I was getting responses. People were coming back. And so I just started scheduling other Black women. And so now they cannot say that it is a singular event, now they have to look around and be like, you know what, maybe my environment is not healthy. Maybe going to the club or like going to the drinking out and where I'm meeting women, maybe that's just not the place for where I will meet these type of women, you know, and because that's what a lot of us are used to and attracted to, and that's what's being advertised to a lot of our community members is alcohol and to de-stress and things like that. So a lot of like the young guys, when they're meeting women in these environments. And like there's also this layer of like what are women doing to attract men, or what is the most attractive thing to men? And right now in the entertainment industry, it's like a lot of it is like twerking or dancing or drinking and partying.
Yep.
And so what's so beautiful of what I wanted to intentionally do on my page is provide a different level of attraction that a lot of men maybe didn't realize could exist, but look at it and be like, oh.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
But you guys saw it probably immediately, like, you know, like kind of what I was doing. And like, because as we get older, we realize like what's truly important,
Right.
safety and security.
And I think for us, there's probably this misnomer, misconception, or whatever you want to call it, that men of our age shouldn't need this affirmation. Like, bro, you've gone through life, you've worked, you've had successes, you've had failures. What the heck do you need an affirmation for at 59, 60 years old? Why do you still need that? Could you talk to that? I have my feelings about it, but I'd rather hear it from you because you're the pro and the guest on the show.
I'm building. I'm still, you know, I think we're forever learning. But I think it is all about your love language, right? Everybody needs love. And so right now, you know, on the page, it's affirmations for Black men, and most of it's in words, right? So I have a bunch of Black men who will receive their love language through words, and that's what they're enjoying. But there's a lot of Black men who receive their love language through actions or acts of service or quality time, you know. And I think it is all about your intention to love someone, and in their love language, and your intention to support someone in their love language. Everybody needs love, like, you know, and I think that's why it starts with you, and giving yourself and showing yourself your own love language. That's how literally the page started. It was me. One of my love languages is words of affirmation, you know, but also another one of my love languages is acts of service. And so how I show myself my love language in that is I make my life easier and for my future self. So I'm always looking out for my future self and doing acts. So like I just washed my car yesterday and cleaned it and detailed it, so that way my future self could drive around in a nice clean car, you know? So I'm always doing acts of service for my future self. And that's how I've been showing myself love. But there's a lot of people who aren't practicing love with themselves, or don't know how to, and don't even know that is a thing. And so like, if you haven't even practiced it with yourself, it's really, really hard for you to be there for somebody else in their love language, and show them love in the way that they need as well in partnership. Sometimes when we think about partnership, or even me in my past, what can the other person do for me? It's never really what can I do for the other person. It's always, a lot of us are looking at it through a selfish lens, and then end up in, you know, relationships with some friction.
We've had this conversation recently, to touch on what you said last, practicing love for oneself. And we literally just came off of this conversation a few days ago. Brothers don't know how to do it. We don't. We haven't really been allowed to do it. We certainly haven't been taught how to do it. From the time we were kids, it's, you know, big boys don't cry. Get up off the ground, scrape your knee, get up, okay, wipe it off and man up. Big boys are tough. So it's always this toughness, this facade of this toughness, this hardness, and this training of protect and provide for our partners. So, Darren, you asked about the affirmations at this age. yeah, I needed at this age, having gone through life and life be lifing, and family, kids, and the pressures that come along with that we as brothers don't express because we never really have been allowed to be that vulnerable.
Mm.
Let me ask you this though, Mike and Nicole, chime in here. To me, it's two different dichotomies, meaning affirmations for Black men would be different than affirmations for Black males. Mike, you just said something that we protect, we provide, we do all of this for our spouses, for our kids, or for our significant others and kids.
That's
Not all,
men stuff.
not all. That's men stuff. And Nicole, you said something that, in terms of taking, loving yourself and doing for yourself, but actually having to do for others first, and then you get that reciprocity. Well, boys and girls, whether Black, white, or whatever, and I don't mean that from a chronological standpoint, because you could be a 50-year-old boy. They don't know how to do that. That's just a Black male or a Black female or a white male, white female. But that's different than a Black man. Black men do exactly what you're talking about, Mike. Black males don't always do that.
Yeah.
Because and guilty. I've been that Black male where I was just like, you know what? It's about me. I got to take care of my physical needs. I got to take care of whatever, and I'll do whatever I need to do to get it done. It wasn't until I understood my manhood and walked into it and said, all right, you have this spouse, you have these kids who are heavily dependent on you to take care of. Now you got to step up and be the man in your relationship, and not only just my immediate family, but my friend circle as well. And to me, that bodes differently than just being having the title Black man. No, not everybody that I hate to say is not a Black man.
Yeah.
Thoughts around that.
Having that space, that venue, that platform to even be able to try to begin to express yourself is so limited for us. I used to joke with my homegirls and the Black women in my life to say, you know what, you all talk to each other, and when you don't have each other, years ago, 4:00 every afternoon, Oprah was on the TV. If you can talk to nobody else, you were talking to Oprah, or you were being affirmed by her and others, affirming women. With us, again, it's a desert. It's an affirmation desert where we just don't have those outlets, and they're probably there. Darren is, he's my oasis, from a male's perspective. And we are fortunate enough, he and I, to have other friends that are in that same mindset. So many brothers literally don't have anyone in anywhere to express. And we're grown enough to have gone through losses and some other things to be able to say, hey, man, I appreciate you. I love you.
Hey, guys, this is DB with the Sullivan Man Podcast. Hey, we really appreciate you guys rocking with us all these months. The feedback has been amazing. We hope to continue to bring you amazing content. We need a huge, huge favor from you, though. We need you to like. I think that like button is somewhere right here. We need you to share. I think it's right here, maybe. And we need you to subscribe. Come on, guys. Keep rocking with us and share this content. And we want to reach millions. We appreciate you.
And receive that as well. So many brothers don't have that as an outlet. And again, going back to the childhood piece of it, where, hey, big boys don't cry. You got to be tough. You got to man up, the whole nine. We certainly won't be vulnerable with each other, because then you're weak. Or you're something less than. And it's a lot of broken men out here that need someone to talk through those hurts and those pains and those other, and it's just not there. It's just not there.
And to piggyback on that, then I'll shut up. Not only okay, we have it, you and I, amongst our peer group and friends.
Yep. Yep.
But it's one thing for me to tell you, hey, chill, you're gonna be okay, man. This is gonna be, it's gonna, you're gonna see this through, whatever you said to me. But to get it from a sister.
Woo! Lord have mercy.
To get it from a sister.
Lord have mercy.
Wow.
Yes, that is another level.
Wow.
It's another level. She got me. So, as I mentioned, Oprah, even if you don't have those people in your personal circle, Nicole gonna hit me with something today.
That's right.
For real, for real. If I ain't getting it from nobody else, I know exactly where I can go. And I'm talking about weeding through a whole lot of pollution on the internet to go straight to Affirmations for Black Men. I know I'm going to get something that's going to lift me today. It's not going to tear me down. I don't have to be scared of this space tearing me down. I appreciate you for that.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah. I appreciate you for that.
Thank you. And I think it's really vital, because sometimes there's a lot of men who they grew up in homes that teared them down.
Yep.
The home teared them down. The work environment teared them down. The school teared them down. The internet. There's nowhere, you know what I mean, for a lot of men. And then sometimes, so what I've seen from my community is they're just saying solitude is the only place where they could find, safety and security. And we all know like how important community is, how important connection is. Yeah. And this is, I really do feel like it's really done like purposeful, because I think that, the divide and conquer thing is still happening within our community. And I think that we're just so powerful imagine if we're living in a community and we all really rode for each other and we all really loved each other, we wouldn't be putting up with half of nothing. You know what I mean? I think that the problems inside the home need to be addressed first before we can address the problems within the world, within the country, within the city. Because that is where we spend most of our time. And that's where what people are so distracted that they're not even focused on the problems that is happening within the home, within the woman and the man relationships.
Yeah. I got to jump into your personal business for a second. How has all of this affected your relationships, your dating life, etc.?
Oh man, you think it would be positively affecting my dating life, but it did not. Like, and that's also like getting into this and affirming Black men. I was dating someone at the time and he did not like it. He was a Black man. He was like, he did not like it because I think he saw all of the attention that I was getting from other men. And he was just like, one of the things that he said to me, he's like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna start an OnlyFans? And he just like, you're gonna just start doing you're gonna start talking to other men, and like, where are you going with this? Like, it was really negative. Like, we don't talk to this day because he wasn't really that supportive of what I was doing, or maybe he didn't like understand fully. But he was, and then on top of that, he was in the social media space as well. And then I think it was just like a little bit to his ego watching me kind of, and he's been doing it for 10 years. And I kind of just came in, like in a couple weeks, and he's just kind of watching me explode. And I think that kind of hurt a little bit, and he couldn't communicate that. So I think there's just like a bunch of stuff that was happening there. But yeah, it did not help my relationship with him. But as I took a break from that, and I haven't really been dating anybody for the last like 6 to 12 months, because I really wanted to focus on my brand. It's a lot of work maintaining such a large audience. And now I get to kind of date from a space of this space, but I would like to date people first without telling them what I do. Because I feel like, I don't know, like a part of me feels like I don't want people to date me just because I do that. I want people to kind of meet me where I'm at face value.
It's going to be hard at this point for you to encounter somebody that that doesn't know you.
Well, and not only that, so and I'm going to talk directly to the camera. So for you young brothers who are out there, and by some chance, the young brother who used to date Nicole, who she no longer dates, some chance you hear this. If you don't understand how to navigate these waters, how to check your ego, how to check your pride, how to support. There are two OGs on this call right here. Hit us up because you're missing out on a good woman by just being foolish. This is what she does as a passion. How she manages her personal relationship with a significant other is completely different. I suspect if she pours into you like she pours into this community, you were sitting on a gold mine and you didn't know it.
Right.
And this is coming from two men who don't know her that well, just casual conversations about what we're doing here today. But I'm also no fool. I've been around a long time. I've been in a lot of relationships. So, brothers,
Yeah.
That's what I'll say.
D, that was some real male energy versus man energy.
That's exactly what it was. That was some male energy. Yeah,
that was some male energy.
Holla at your unks. We'll tell you. Holla at the unks. We will share the game with you because you blew it. You blew it.
Yeah. Been at it. Been in it for what, about 45 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Been at it for about 45 years. So we got a little knowledge in that regard. So we've seen some conversations with Black Man Can and with Sean from Ovation and some other things. It's just great to see you intermingling and collaborating with these really sharp young men. I can't remember the young man's name from Black Man Can, but
Express Yourself Black Man, Kizzle. I did one with him.
Yeah, I love what he's doing. Love what he's doing. Yeah, good guy. Good guy.
And Sean's definitely a friend of the show. So good old Ovation Cologne and some of the greatest ads for an independent brother that I've seen.
Right.
Heck yeah. And his cologne smell really good. So
exactly.
Again, you got to check out Ovation Fragrance. you know.
So where are you going with Affirmations for Black Men? Because at this point, it's a movement. It's not a site. And do you feel that way? Do you feel this is really a movement?
Yes, absolutely. It's been a journey, like I was saying, from the people who were kind of giving me friction about it, from my personal life to the internet. And then I had a couple people who were copying me. There was like a white woman who also is copying me and doing it and like taking kind of what I was saying and taking it. And I don't think she kind of understood, like the gravity of everything that I was trying to do within the community. Otherwise, I think she just saw the attention that it was getting and she just tried to kind of piggyback on it. But it's okay because you can try to recreate the recipe, but the sauce is never the same. So I think how they say. So it's okay. I just peeped. I kept it moving. And now I kind of am looking at the page and because you're right, it is a movement. I want to continue to provide content where Black men feel heard, understood, seen, and valued and appreciated. And my hope is to get enough funding and resources so I can have a production team help me. And I really want to be able to magnify Black men's stories and not just, I feel like sometimes the stories that we just hear are celebrity stories or athlete stories, or when Black men they have to be amazing or extraordinary to receive attention. And so my goal, I would really, really love to create, and everybody's attention span is so short. So about 90-second reels of stories of Black men who are just doing the everyday thing, but magnifying those stories so it feels like a Denzel clip, within 90 seconds,
Right.
And if I can, get that high level production for that story and maybe fund it through merchandise, Affirmations for Black Men clothing, or, notebook sales or whatever, and be able to fund that production of magnifying and making the world see the depth of this man and the humanity of this man and himself seeing through a different lens. I feel like that would just be so beautiful, being able to bring that energy and that project to life. I would say that's like my long-term goal. In the meantime, I'm just doing my best to monetize through my podcast. You guys can follow me on YouTube and it's called the Black Man Spotlight, where I let Black men sit on the couch and tell their own stories. And that's really cool because that's where I'm learning, more in Black men from different industries and different areas, which is going to be the fuel when the other side of the project takes off, Yep.
So soulmates, anybody in our viewership demographics or whatever, if you want to help this young lady, we'll definitely get some information and put it in the episode so you can see how to help fund her dreams and this needed work. We have some friends who are doing well. I'm just gonna call it what it is. So if you're out there and you want to be an angel investor and you want to help push this movement along, we'll certainly share the information, because I think it's one of these things that needs to be backed and backed by us. I'll just say that. Shameless plug.
Thank you.
And Nicole, I love what you're doing, and just the fact that you shouted out and said, we see so many stories about the celebrity and the athlete and the politicians or people of great power, but it's those unsung guys who wake up every day and put the pants on and shoes on and go out into the world and really are being beacons of our community in smaller ways that will never be seen, but they really deserve that shine. And it's not even so much shine, just acknowledgement that we see you.
Exactly.
You're here. We know you're here, and we see you in all that you're doing. You're coaching over here, this little league team, and you're taking scouts out into the campsites on the weekends in the summer, and you're doing this at your church, and you're doing this volunteering, etc., going above and beyond, and you never get the award, you never get the acknowledgement. This is acknowledgement. So excited about that. And if we can help you pinpoint who some of those guys are, call on your unks about that too. We know some stars. I mean, they were the guys who were just brought up, groomed the right way, and just solid to the core. Darren and I are both North Carolina A&T graduates. So we come from this HBCU world, and we have been blessed. We could probably name 20, 30 folks right now, men that were a part of a broader circle, that you could pick one of us up out as kids and put them in the other household, and none of us would have missed a beat, because we were all really being mentored, taught, led, advised the same way, or very much the same way. And so again, we know who some of those hidden heroes are. And
not all of them are old like us either. We know some young brothers. We know some young brothers as well.
Right.
I really want to emphasize too. I feel like a lot of people don't realize we're in what feels like to me. I feel like we're in a media war, where a lot of the money and a lot of the resources of people who are in the media industry are narrating and are controlling our story. We do not own Black Enterprise Entertainment. We don't own all of these streaming companies. And then when there's a Black person that does elevate within the media and the entertainment, it's always kind of they're being puppeteered and steered a certain way. Even Meek Mill admitted this. He's like, they're giving me more money to talk about shooting up, and they're giving me more money to do this. And he's like, when they sign these contracts, you have to do what the label says. You have to, if you want to be in this movie and make this money, and we have Black well-known actors who are saying we do not get paid like the amount that like we're paycheck to paycheck. So we still have these entertainment people who are paycheck to paycheck who feel in order to pay their bills, you know, they are compromising sometimes and are only going to be casted in certain stories.
Right.
And in certain ways. And so it's like in reality TV, you know, it's just like so abundant and people are so addicted to watching people be traumatized or go through trauma. And we're just like kind of reliving and watching it every single day to where we think that it's normal. And there's less and less like Black families staying together. And so, and we don't even realize like this is all like mass manipulation, like mass control that is happening. And like going back to the beginning of the conversations of what affirmations does is it reprograms your brain. And then going back to where affirmations is going is I want to help like our community kind of get back, you know, to the Black Wall Street, like get back to Tulsa, like reprogram and deprogram and let go of all of these stories and narratives that were pushed onto us to keep us suppressed and to keep us, you know, kind of like divided in a way. And so I'm hoping that when people see my content, when people come across the things that I'm doing, it lights up a fire, it lights up a question, and it kind of sort of is a ripple effect, if not just for one person.
Yeah, and it starts, and it's exactly where you are. It starts with the Black man, good, bad, or indifferent. If we can make sure the Black man is doing what he needs to do and he's getting what he needs, then everything else will fall into place. We'll be better providers to our families. We'll be better men in our communities. Just a whole 9 yards. And so it starts. If you want, you know, if the devil wanted to just play with our community, come pick on the Black man, kill off the Black man first, and our community will fall shortly thereafter. So yeah.
Yeah. And then think about like the genre of like hip hop didn't start, you know, where it is now. That's not why it started. It started as a revolutionary music to kind of like get people for, it's like you have Ice Cube and NWA, like hip hop this was not where hip hop was going, you know? And like you were saying, you know, I think, and then also there's this aspect as a woman, and I was talking to my mom and I was telling her, and I was like, you know, if we can't lead our community, like men are like, if you look at the world globally, like men are the ones that rule the world, right? And so if our men, if like Black women are very powerful, but if the men in our community aren't supported and they're not powerful as well, we're not even playing the game. We're not in the chess game. Like the king is down, like, you know, like the king is out. There is nothing to play with, right? We got to really think about this, like, you know, and I think a lot of us, we feel empowered, like including me as a Black woman, to feel powerful and to feel like I'm getting somewhere, but I'm getting nowhere if the man beside me isn't getting anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's real.
So a couple things, and I know we're coming up on time, and I hate putting a time limit on conversations, but we respect your time and we know you're very busy and whatnot. Couple questions. Number one, in terms of reciprocity, you have these affirmations for Black men, you have your movement, you have your affirmation soldiers, all the ladies who've jumped on board and given these affirmations. What can men do, Black men, in terms of reciprocity to pay it back in your eyes, your thoughts?
Thank you guys. All the love, all the comments is what has been pushing me, the engagement, the support. Thank you guys so much up until this point. I really appreciate it. And if you could just subscribe to my YouTube. I also have on my Instagram and Facebook and my TikTok where you can subscribe for $5 a month if you want to help, you know, push things forward so that way I can build a team. Right now I have about 120 subscribers and I'm building that out, and I'm like communicating with the subscribers where I'm dropping videos for subscribers. I'm going live with subscribers, and the subscriber hub is really what helps me get feedback and helps me kind of build it up. Recently, we just talked last week about if I should do an affirmations like album type of thing where it should just be words, no video, and an audio download.
Wow.
And they were like with like nature sounds and stuff like that for morning affirmations and evening affirmations. And they were like, yes, girl.
Yes.
They're like, please. And so they're been encouraging me and have been giving me ideas and advice and have really been like the backbone to the backbone.
Wow. Wow.
No,
I think the sky's the limit. I truly believe the sky is the limit for you. I expect to get on Amazon or walk into Barnes and Nobles. If we're not boycotting both of them, and see a series of your books, the albums that you just mentioned, and a plethora of other things, other products, gifts to really lift this segment up.
Thank you.
I'm curious, young girls, how would you convey your message to, I'm going to say teenage girls, maybe a little younger, to start planting the seed there that their counterparts on the other side are not all evil, not all bad, not all demons? What would be the message to a younger girl?
We don't have the cooties.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that the young girls are already following me and seeing my content as of recently. So I think young women, when you're younger and you're a little bit more immature, what you're looking for is attention. And so a lot of the girls that were getting attention right now were like, it was like the girls who were just like dancing and showing their bodies, and like a lot of the male attention was going towards that. But now we're seeing pages like mine get a lot of attention. And so now, and then from like different men are posting it. So I think the male attention and the male support that is coming into the page, now a lot of the young girls are like, oh, this is what they want. This is different, and then they're starting to kind of explore with the idea. So I think it's the men that are going to, like, the encouragement of the men. I think that's what's going to get them on board.
Okay.
What would you say? And I'm going counter to that, Mike. What would you say to the older sisters, the ones that we encounter day in and day out? What would you say to them?
I think older women are a little bit different because they come with a world of experience, and so when you have different experiences, I think like the older women that have been in my circle, they gave me a hard time at first, they gave me the hardest time. They were just like the side eye, like, what is she doing?
And Nicole, you said even some family.
Yes, even some family, like close family, like I would not believe. And I think it's just through, sometimes like trauma, people are viewing it through trauma and experiences. But now I'd say with the consistency of it, and like I was bringing in other women and asking older women to come in on it. Now it's become more like, oh, okay. And then the podcast with Black men who can emotionally articulate themselves have been. And now a lot of older women are respecting a lot more what I'm doing, because I think that there's a lot of Black men who don't have the tools to be able to emotionally express themselves. And sometimes that emotional expression can come through anger or different forms of communication that trigger Black women. And so I've been having psychiatrists and therapists who are Black men come on and communicate in a way where other women can actually understand, because it's not like no one's agitated or irritated or angry at you. Like they're just communicating what is going on and what's wrong. And so a lot of older women in the Professor Odie interview on YouTube, they were commenting like, oh my gosh, like Eureka. Like, like it's a 1 + 1 = 2. Like everybody's kind of waking up to it because it's being communicated in a way that they're able to receive it. So I'm excited because my audience of women is growing very rapidly.
Wow. That's great.
Wow. That is great. That is great. Wow.
So, we can't let you get out of here without on this day giving us one of those Nicole Affirmations for Black Men. You know you can't get out of here without doing that.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow, that's beautiful. Okay, I got one. And whenever you guys are ready.
Ready.
You got the floor.
Well, to the Black man listening, and who, if you watch this podcast to the end, my hope for you in all of this, through the conversation, everything that I've been doing, is for you to know that the best and biggest soulmate that you will have for the rest of your life will be you. And the greatest love of your life, no one is going to be able to show you the love that you're looking for than yourself. You are the one that is feeling everything. So you are the one that is going to be able to magnify everything that you want. And if you are able to resonate, with the energy of love and acceptance and gratitude, you will be able to start to release and feel things that you've never felt before. And there are new doors, and there are new experiences, and there are new things that you can explore in life. And it is just up to you to continue to pour into yourself, continue to believe that that is out there and that you are deserving. And you cannot feel something from someone else if you do not feel it within yourself. So the power and the love and the resources and all the energy that you've been looking for has been within you this entire time. And I know that sounds like crazy, but it's also super powerful and it's super beautiful. So if everything inside of you has been within you and it's just waiting to be unlocked, that means that there is this beautiful journey that you get to set out upon. And it's like an ocean of love, and it will just continue to get deeper and deeper and deeper until the day that you die. And there is like no floor for it. And so the more that you are able to feel it and be consumed by it, the more that you will watch your life grow and everything around you grow. And the more that you'll be able to attract everything that you are looking for. It's just like, start with you. And that is my affirmation for the day.
Wow. You know what?
These doggone allergies, man. These allergies, boy.
Somebody's cutting onions.
Yeah. Somebody cutting up some onions.
Well, no, I think that is a great way to end the show. Great way to end the broadcast. Nicole, we can't thank you enough for your time. Can't thank you enough, young sister, for just taking time out of your schedule to be here with us. The sky is the absolute limit for you. We are here to support you in any way that we can. Just call on the unks if you need something. We're here for you. You're family now, whether you know it or not, whether you want to be or not, you are. Again, thank you so much. Thank you for being on. Guys, this has been an amazing episode. Thank you for tuning in to the Soul of a Man podcast. And as always, from our soul to yours, we love you. Peace.
Bye.